Okay, so today we're going to begin talking about two-step equations. Before we get started with two-step equations, I want to make sure we have a good understanding of our vocabulary use for this unit. So inside this red box, we have the number 2. The 2 is attached to the variable x, so that's going to make 2 a coefficient. A coefficient's attached to the variable. The variable is the letter that is represented in the equation. In advanced math, you may see multiple variables. For our purposes, in 7th grade and 8th grade, we're focusing primarily on one variable. And then this minus 3 is going to be a constant. It's not attached to the x. So that's the difference. If it's not attached to the x, it's going to be a constant, where if it is, it's going to be a coefficient. Coefficients can be more than whole numbers as well. They could be fractions if we wanted. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of all that and rewrite our equation here. So we have 2x minus 3 is equal to negative 11. Well, first thing we want to do is get rid of our constants that are on the same side as our coefficient and variable. Okay, so that means we have to do the inverse operation to our negative 3, which is add 3. And with an equation, whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So our minus 3 and our plus 3 cancel out, so we're left with just 2x. And then we do negative 11 plus 3, which gives us negative 8. So now we're left with 2x equals negative 8. What we want to do is get our variable by itself now. So that means we have to do the inverse operation with our coefficient. Since we're doing multiplication with that coefficient, we need to do division to get rid of it. So I'm going to divide by 2, again on both sides. That's going to have my 2's cancel out, so I'm left with just my variable x. And then I'm going to do negative 8 divided by 2, which gives me negative 4. Let's take a look at another example of a two-step equation. So here we have x over 4 plus 3 is equal to 19. Well, the first thing we want to do is get rid of this constant. So to do that, I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides. That's going to leave me with x over 4 is equal to 16. So now that I have just my coefficient and my variable on one side, I want to get rid of that coefficient. So since I'm dividing by 4 right now, what I want to do is multiply by 4. That's going to have my 4 cancel out and leave me with just my x. And again, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So right now, I cancel out my 4's, so I'm left with just x. And I do 16 times 4, which gives me 64. Here's another equation that we have to take a look at. This one's going to be a little bit different. So, first thing with this one, I have 3x plus 6 minus 2x is equal to 73. The first thing I want to do is combine like terms. What do I mean by like terms? Well, that could be anything that has the same variable or combine my constants together. So, on my left side of the equation, I have 3x and negative 2x. So what I want to do is combine those first. So I do 3x minus 2x, and I'm left with just x plus 6 is equal to 73. So now, by doing that first step of combining like terms, I'm left with just a one-step equation. So I'm going to do the inverse operation to get rid of my constant. So I'm going to do 73 minus 6. Cancels my 6's with my variable. So I have x is equal to 67.